welcome to the Huff workshop. We're gonna start out by. Oh man, I'm getting some background. Everyone be sure to mute. I wonder if we should have done this on the Huff stage. This is the second time I have to mute someone. All right, installing Huff. Um, we have a Huff language repo. It's huff.language. Let me drop some links in the chat. And so there's the repo. You come here as normal. You would check out the docs and little information about Huff. And basically, you can just use this curl command to get the Huff installer. Okay, it's called Huff up. And then from the command line, we can run Huff up. Let's get a different one going. Get this a little bigger. That seems like that should be good. All right, let's workshop. Well, that sounds cool. All right. So once you've installed the installer, then you can run Huff up. It's kind of like Foundry up, and that will install the latest and greatest version. And then, how do we do this version? Yeah. So this is how it should look. You know, so just a brief history of Huff. You know, Zach Williamson created it originally at Aztec, and then Jet really rewrote it in TypeScript and kind of brought it more mainstream. But then after that, there was another rewrite in Rust, which is what we use today. And the reason I bring that up is because I don't know if it still happens, but there was a time when people were accidentally downloading the old TypeScript version. So I don't know if we're going to have that problem anymore, but just be aware of that. Like if you do Huff C version, it should say this Huff C 032. Whereas if you are using the old version, it'll say something else. So that is that on the installation of Huff. Is anyone having any problems installing Huff? Please speak up or mention in the chat. Let me check the chat. Jess RC, are you able to hear anything now? I muted a couple of people, but I don't think that it was you. I just muted some people that didn't have their mute on. Well, let us know if you can hear anything, Jess, and also please speak up if you're having any issues installing Huff. I know that sometimes people have issues installing on Windows, and we do have a couple of volunteers to help out with Windows issues. So yeah, if nobody's having problems, I think we can just move on. So you've got Huff installed. What do we do now? So let's see. Within the same repo, Huff language repo, we've also got a couple of things. We've got a Foundry Huff repo, which has some tools that allow you to kind of basically, you know, instantiate a Huff contract within a Foundry test setup. And then there's a Huff project template that uses that. And so that's what I would suggest you start with. I would suggest you start with the Huff project template. Now, not to confuse things, but there's actually been kind of an improvement over Foundry Huff. Well, I don't know if it's an improvement, but it's kind of like a lighter version called Huff Runner. So that's something that we'll see later. That gets used in the challenge template, the CTF template. But anyway, I think for now, the best advice would be to use this Huff project template for new projects. So I'm going to, okay, good. I see you got your volume back, Jess. That's great. So I just dropped the link for the Huff language template. So yeah, we can just like go ahead and clone this and check it out. I have this, I'm hearing some more background noise again. Who could that be? Derby Tez. Alright, I'm going to mute you. It didn't work. Alright, who else could it be? Okay, that was it. It was Steve Phi. Alright, so yeah, I just cloned it. GCC, that's my little shortcut to clone it and then CD into the directory. I hate having to CD in after I get cloned something. So this is the Huff project template. So let's run it. Let's see what happens. So that should also install all the Forge dependencies for me. And let me keep an eye on the chat over here as well. Yeah, feel free to speak up with questions either in the chat or this is a voice channel, so we want to keep this real informal. So everything installed, test pass. What is this test doing? Let's let's look at it. Oops. Let's look at it in the editor. Make it a little bigger maybe. And so basically it's your typical kind of Foundry setup. Here's the Huff file in the source, and then here is the test file. So we're going to be doing lots of Huff. What I want to show you guys is the test file and how that works. So you import Foundry Huff at the top. And so remember, this is all going to be in your template already. So, so this dependency comes with the template. So you import it, and this is the one line that does the magic. Okay, so simple store. This is the library name, Huff deployer, to deploy, and then it's a string of the Huff file name. So remember, the file was simplestore.huff, and so you just have to say in your command here, simple store. So boom, that's it. Everything else happens behind the scene. What extension are you using in your VS Code? Oh, good question. I don't know. I change them around. Installed. I got Copilot. Huff. I got this Huff one. I think that does some stuff. Solidity. The hard hat one. I just recently switched from Juan Blanco to the hard hat one. Some more Solidity stuff. That's pretty much it. So yeah, getting back to this thing. So right here, this line right here, it basically is the equivalent of deploying out your Huff contract. So deploying the bytecode, and now Foundry recognizes it as an instance of the simple store. So you could just access it the same way as if it was like a Solidity contract and you were like simple store equals new whatever. So like that line right here effectively does that, and then it gives you access. Since we put it in state up here, it gives you access in all of your tests. So that part should look familiar to you, but this is the key line right here. So I think there's another thing I'll drop. We just started this YouTube channel, and this video I did with Spearbit a while back walks through this exact simple store. So I just shared that video. That's, I think, another great resource for beginners because it literally walks through step by step the simple store. Let me pull it back up again. Yeah, it's gonna walk you through line by line this entire simple store contract. So, and like that's a huge amount of knowledge, to be honest with you. So like just going through this, I think is gonna take you from zero to like you know, really starting to understand how things work. So I would definitely recommend going through that tutorial. The whole thing is like maybe half an hour, because in that video, maybe it's like 45 minutes, because in that video there's like, it goes through two things. It also does an optimization challenge. Let me get the chat back up. I lost it on my screen here. Cool. So yeah, we've kind of gone through setting up Huff, installing Huff. We've gone through what it would look like if you were to like want to create, you know, your own template. And so now now let's look at the you know, CTF template, the challenge template that we set up especially for the Huffathon. Let's see. Let me just check something over here. I want to make sure that I made this repository public. I can't remember. Is it public? I think it's public. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now. You guys tell me if it's not. Let me have trouble with the Huffathon command using Ming W64. I don't even know what Ming W64 is. That's Windows, I guess. Well, oh, it's still private? Okay, thanks for telling me. I'm gonna switch it. Hey Zach, you know what? Could you please post something in the Huffathon channel, the Huffathon general channel, and tag it's called, I think, Windows. We have a role for people that are available to help with Windows. I think it's called like Windows Huffers or something. So if you could post your question with the details and tag what's it called again? Let me just get the full name for you. At Windows Huffer. If you could tag them, then hopefully somebody can get back to you that could help you out with Windows stuff. And I'm going to make that repo not private, and then we can dig in.
Mhm.
Okay, got my 2FA. All right, try refreshing, guys. I think it should be good now. Back to the chat. Lost my chat window. Okay, everyone says it works. Awesome. All right, cool. So, you know, at this point, we're assuming that you have Huff installed. There is how to install on Windows. Oh, cool. You know, I didn't even realize that. That's good info. I didn't realize there's docs on how to install Huff. I wonder if I could somehow get some of the chat in the screen here. Let's see if I'll try that for now. See if that gets too annoying. But that way, some people viewing at home might be able to see the chat as well. All right. So here we are. Huff. Yeah. Every time I click on something, it's going to go away, right? Let me try to adjust that. All right. Let's try this for now. Let me know if the screen looks weird or you think I should do something different with the screen. Here's somebody humming. Okay. All right, so here we go. Huff workshop. Oh shoot, I forget. Did I forget this? It's supposed to be the player readme. I'm gonna have to change this. I was supposed to have renamed this, and this should have been the main readme. So basically, this is a document that's gonna kind of guide you through how to use this, or how to do the challenge. Okay, so like this is just a demo challenge. Although I would like us to try to register this at the end. Let me make sure I set the ID correctly. Yeah, that should be okay. 21, I think is good. Cool. Back to the README. I'll have to make a note to. I'll update that README in a second. But so for some of the other challenges, which the first one kicks off in about an hour and a half. Okay, it's going to be an introductory challenge. I'll tell you guys a little alpha leak. It's going to be pretty easy. It's going to be just basically arranging a stack. You have to arrange the stack in the right order. And there's also there's going to be 2 prizes. I think we'll probably do like $50 for the first blood, whoever gets it done first, and then there'll be a $100 prize for whoever submits the most optimized solution. So, so in that one, right here during the overview, that's where it's going to talk about what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to set up the stack. In this challenge, it says right here, you need to update the player solution.huff file, adding logic, which will return OX69 whenever the contract is called. So this is super easy, but it's just kind of like a demo. And you know what? I think it's better if we download this template and then we can look at it more in depth together and come back to these docs here. So let's download it. Let's clone it. Oops. So yeah, I think I dropped the link in there. Let me just drop it one more time. So let's get this cloned locally. Here's my Huffathon workshop. That's annoying me. I'm just gonna have to move it. I'm gonna have to rename it. Alright, so now we'll do this workshop repo with my GCC shortcut, and then I'm just going to run forge test, which should install the dependencies, and then also I'm expecting to see some failing tests here. What is that? Mute. Owl, is that you? No. Sadish car, I think. There we go. I think I muted him. I don't know, if I mute someone, are they like permanently muted the whole time, or they can unmute? I don't know.
No, you're good. I muted him. You're good.
Oh, cool. Hey, Jay Trilly, what's up?
What up?
So yeah, here's the template. More background noise. What is it this time?
Got it. You're good.
Hello.
You're all good.
I'm hearing it on my end. And I'm wearing headphones.
Oh, I might have to server mute. Okay, one sec.
Hello, hello, hello. Okay, now I'm good. No more feedback. Thanks everyone for bearing with us. It's our first hackathon. I haven't done a ton of like voice channel or stuff on Discord myself. And we talked about like other platforms that we could have used, but like Discord is just so easy since we're all already on it. Alright. I had a nice way to get the... Yeah, this is what I want to do. Cool. So, we just cloned the Huffathon workshop repo. And so this template is going to be very familiar by the end of the event because let's see, the two intro challenges use it. Then Pranesh's challenge right after that uses it. Minamao is doing something different. His is really cool. He built out this really awesome front end for his. So that challenge will not involve this. But then the $1,000 rare skills challenge will use this template, as will the $1,000 Soul Lady challenge on Monday. So yeah, I think it would be good to get familiar with this template. So as we see, I just ran Forge test and only one test passed, which is the challenge ID. And that's what I expect. And this is just kind of like a check to make sure that the puzzle creator didn't screw up and forget to update the challenge ID. So if for some weird reason you guys ever see a challenge ID test failure, let us know right away, because that's not a good sign. So I would expect everything else here to fail. Okay, there's a gas report test and a solution test. Those should fail because we haven't implemented the contracts yet. And there's another one too, okay? In order to register at the end, we have a script, and the script is going to look for this environment variable called player handle, and it's going to pass that into the registry. So of course you don't have to use this mechanism, you can just like hard code over it itself, but that test is looking for that environment variable. I think you could send them up in foundry.toml as well, but you can also I'm not sure about that, but I think you can. And but I'm just gonna set it up here. So what is it? Player handle equals dev tool again. So what this is gonna do is when it registers, if you run the script later when we're ready to submit, when we run the script that registers, it's going to include dev tool again as a string field in the registry. So now let's look at some of the code and figure out what's going on here. So we tried to make this as like straightforward and easy as possible. We're going again, move it, what are you stuck? Oh, there we go. We tried to make this as like, easy and intuitive as possible. So like, for example, the only code you need to update, I think I have it too big now. What do you guys think? Let's get this one. The only code you guys need to update is right here in playersolution.huff. It starts out with the simple store Huff code here, but you could just totally delete that and do whatever you'd like. This is your file and this is the solution. Now there are going to be some challenges where you don't have to actually create the entire contract. You just might have to add logic to one function, so that might, something like that might look like, something along these lines with like a little note that says like insert logic here, for example. But anyway, this is your file. This is the file that is used for your solution. And so then kind of like just looking at some of the infrastructure under the hood so you understand, there's this creator file that is specific to the puzzle creator, and that's where they enter things like the challenge ID. Also, this is where you're going to find the logic of how your code is verified. Okay, so if the README isn't clear or you just want to see for yourself, you can open up this creator file, and here's the exact logic. So what it does, it gets passed in the address of your solution, and it calls it. Okay, in this case, it calls it with no call data. And so in order to pass, in order to be verified, it has to be obviously a success on the call, and the result decoded should be 0x69 as mentioned in the README. So this is the function that gets called on your code. And then another thing that gets reported when you register is your gas. And so it's also up to the puzzle creator how they want to record the gas. You know, like for example, if it was several functions, maybe they would you know, call several functions as part of the measurement. In this case, it's just measuring the gas involved for this one single call, and it reverts if the call isn't successful. So yeah, but you might see some differences. How long will challenge 0 run? So it's actually, there's two parts to it. There's part 1 and part 2. They're actually like, you know, separate challenges. So there's 0.1 and 0.2. 0.1 is going to be at, it's like in an hour and a half. It's 11 a.m. Pacific time, whatever that is, UTC, if someone wants to drop it in there. And then after, let's see, after that, 2 hours later is going to be the next one, 0.2. OETH is optimism ETH. Yeah, if you are like, that's part of the reason I want to go through this workshop right now, to like, you know, work through some of these kinks, like get, you know, yeah, to be a very small, minute amount, like less than a penny's worth of optimism ETH is needed for this. And so it would be great if you know, you guys could just get your own ETH over there. But like, yeah, if you're having problems or if you need some, I would reach out in the Huffathon channel, because I think it might just be a matter of like sending you over like the equivalent of like USD, like 1 penny, I believe, from my testing with the registry. So I definitely send anyone a penny that wants it, no problemo. Where can we get our challenge ID? So the challenge ID, Meek, I don't know if you are planning to create a CTF, but the challenge ID is for the creator who creates the CTF. So if you're interested in creating one, we can talk. We might be able to fit one in during this event, but the players, the solvers, they don't need to change this. It's only for the creator, okay? So remember, like, the terminology for this is player and creator. Creator is the one who creates the puzzle, and player is the one that's trying to solve it. So yeah, so this is how this verify function works. So the verify function we're going to see in a minute is what gets called by the script when you go to register. We're going to see later. And it's also called in this test. And remember how we saw those tests earlier? Well, just to let you guys know, these tests do not affect anything. Like, these tests are there as like a sanity check on some of these things like challenge ID, but they're really there for you. They're really there for you to basically develop and debug your solution. So down here at test solution, this solution address is going to be your deployed, your Huff contract address. So like, here's just an example of how you might want to have access to your solution so that you can, debug it and do whatever. And yes, I am definitely recording this, so we didn't have any problems with the Huff opening ceremony, so hopefully this won't be problematic either. Check the Twitter. We'll post it in the Discord as well. So anyway, we're just pointing out that this, as you're kind of, working through your solution, and maybe we'll do that right now. Let's do that right now. We're going to use these tests and see how we can use them. So let's go back to our solution here. And we just deleted everything. Let me put it all back. So we're not going to even use any functions in this. We're not going to do any function routing or dispatching. So I'm going to get rid of the interfaces. I'm going to get rid of everything basically except for main. Yo, they got you. Just a second. One second, guys. Okay, I'm back. All right, so we're trying to solve this demo problem here. We've cleared out most of what was in the player solution Huff, which was just kind of like a placeholder that had the simple store in it. And there is no print in Huff, Copilot. It's trying to tell me to do print. So really, I think we can get away with just having a main macro. Yeah, like as you might remember in this creator, it just does a call to your contract without any kind of call data. So I think we could just put our answer right here. Okay, so remember we're trying to return something, right? So does anybody know? You can either chat or jump in on the voice chat. Does anybody know how we would return 69 in this from this macro? Yeah, from this contract. Oh, I see some answers coming in. They look good. Store then return. That's right. All right, I'm going to copy and paste our Tarpara's suggestion. So let's just briefly go through this. There might be some new Huffers here. Thanks, Michaels. Yes. So you might have heard of like an opcode push, an opcode called push, and it's followed by a numeric indicator of how many bytes you're putting onto the stack. And so one of the nice things about Huff is that if you just type in the value you want to put on the stack, Huff will figure out how many bytes it is and which push opcode is required. And so all you have to do is put the value you want. So by having this line of Huff, we're saying put 69 onto the stack, okay? And the next thing we're doing, and so another thing we do, and this is something that we'll see in Shafu's talk on Friday, we like to keep the track of what is happening on the stack. So after putting 69 on the stack, we'll only have 69 on the stack. And then I'm gonna, as you can see, you can also the white space is ignored. So you can, sometimes it makes sense to put a few opcodes on one line. Other people prefer to have them spaced out, one per line. We're gonna do one per line here. So, oh nice, Copilot with the stack suggestion. So now, after these two, we've got, oh, you know what, but it did it backwards, didn't it? Well, I guess it depends how you look at it. I think traditionally people have been going left to right, where the left is the top of the stack, but I've seen Phylogeny do it the other way around. He likes to put the top of the stack on the right side, but anyway, this is what the stack looks like. And so mstore, and that intro video that I shared earlier, it's going to go through this and more, like in very much detail. So I'm not going to really bother, like, if you're new to Huff, you'll probably be checking EVM codes a lot to say, oh, what does mstore take, and things like that. So that video, I think, is really great for beginners. So anyway, after we execute the mstore, there's not going to be anything on the stack anymore because mstore consumes it and it puts the 69 value into the first word of memory starting from location 0x00. So now we're putting another 20 on the stack, which is going to be the size that we're, the size of the what we're returning, which is 20, which is 32 bytes, which is one word, right? We're only returning one word. And then let's space this out. And so then we're putting a 0 because that is the location in memory that we're returning, and then finally we return. And so one of the things we can do is, let's say that we were just debugging this, and let's say that we did, let's say that we just did 68, okay, for fun. I'm not going to change the stack comments. And we want to go in and debug. Let's say we're still having problems. Our test isn't passing. See, now the gas report doesn't fail because we have a contract now. It's not failing. The player handle test isn't failing because I added that to my environment. But the solution is failing, right? So let's go into the test. So we have access to all of this stuff, and in fact, we already have it set up so that it's console logging the data. So we could just I have all these shortcuts. I can't remember the right words anymore, the right syntax of the commands anymore. I think it's like this. Oh, and maybe give it some V's. Yeah, perfect. So right up here, we could see the results that I'm console logging. So it was a successful. Oh no, what's going on? I think I might that was weird. So it was a successful call, and it's returning 68. And then, you know, that was my mistake. I should go change it to 69. So let's do that. And now, boom, it's working. Okay, so now all of your tests are passing. So that's great. And kind of depending on the challenge and what you're going for, you know, if you're trying to get a first blood on something, then, you know, you may want to look to registering right away as soon as you get a passing solution. Whereas when you're trying to get the optimized solution, can you zoom terminal? Yeah, sure. When you're trying to get the optimized solution, if I was trying to optimize my solution, then I would probably go back and, you know, go through this. There's not really anything to optimize here, but I would take this opportunity to optimize my code. And we're going to talk about the script for registering, but I just want to take a second and see if there's any questions or anything that wasn't clear so far that we can talk about. Is there an easy way to see gas count? Yes, I'll show you that in a second. Can you show the process of registration? When you say registration, oh yeah, you mean like the final step? Yeah, I was gonna save that. Where do I see my gas cost? We're gonna see this in 1 second, guys. The gas cost. Forge as diff. Okay, yeah, that's what Forge as diff I think is suggestion is doing is based on the tests and how you can have like a gas snapshot, but we have a very specific function that is, you know, added by the creator to measure the gas. So you want to know, you know, this is the number that you want to know, the one returned by the gas report. And so like from the solutions, one way to access that is because it's inherited, as you see up here, utils is inherited by this test. You could just call it. So another thing we could do is we could be like console log gas report. So that's one way that you could get these gas amounts. Let's give it something else. Like console log gas report, sure. Good suggestion, Copilot. So, let's do, I use a FTM for forge test - M with the V, so I'm just going to use that. Solution. So now we see that the gas is 333 for that code. So, all right, so besides the last step, which is the registration and which we're going to get into now, is there any other questions about what we've talked about so far? No? Okay, awesome. All right, well then let's look at the last step. So the last step is going to involve calling this script, okay? And I admit this is a little bit of a process. It would be great if we just had some like shiny button that you could push and register. Um, don't worry, man. We didn't hear you sneeze. No biggie. So anyhow, basically you have to run the script. You need to have a RPC URL that you're going to use with it, and you're going to also, once you actually register, right, Pranesh, yeah, Pranesh is pointing out that you had to add your Discord handle to the .env file. It can also be added just to the local to the bash environment that you're running the terminal in, which is what you guys saw me do earlier. But yeah, that is one of the things, exactly what Sparks wrote. So yeah, let's see. So hopefully, I think that most of you should have and understand what a RPC URL is. I don't want to expose my RPC URL. Let me make sure I just have it. I should have it just already set to a variable, but let me just check something off screen here to make sure I don't expose anything I shouldn't. Yeah, okay, so I've already got it as an environment variable called Optimism RPC. I think that sounds right, Jesse. Is that before doing anything? I think that is when you first clone the repo, it should fail. That test should fail. Oh, cool, Paul. Thanks for that. Would you mind posting that in the Huffathon channel, please, Paul? That would be a big help. Forking a recent blog or specific. So, you don't actually have to fork. There's really, for this, there's no reason to fork for any of the challenges that I know of. None of them are interacting with anything on a forked environment. But you need this URL so that you can actually write to the Optimism, to the registry contract that we have on Optimism. So let's take a look at that. Maybe that'll help understand a little better what we're kind of trying to do here. So let me pull that up from the README. There's a note at the bottom of the README that says, "Hey, if you don't want to use the script, or if you're having problems, you can go straight to the Optimism Block Explorer and interact with the contract." It's obviously there's a chance of human error there, so it's not the recommended approach, but it might be easier. And so let me make this bigger. So yeah, you would write to the contract. You'd have to connect your Web3, and you enter these things. And I'm gonna show you where you get these things from in a second. But this is when you register, this is what's happening. It's including the CTF ID, which you don't need to worry about. That happens kind of behind the scenes. It's posting up your solver handle, and so that's that player handle that is the environment variable. And the reason this is important is we need to reach you if you win. So this will help us to reach you if you win. And then code hash. So basically your code that you use to solve is going to be hashed, and that's what gets put on the registry. And then later, if you're a winner, you will provide your code to us, and we will confirm the hash, and we will confirm it works, and confirm that it's within the spirit of the contest. There's not any kind of funny business, and you didn't like modify something outside of the player solution. So the code hash is also created for you. I'm going to show you how to get that in a second. And then the gas, we just saw that comes from the gas report. So well, let me just show you one quick thing that'll help. Oh shit. Fucking just flashed a private key. Alright, well, maybe I can figure out how to edit that out later. Let me take this terminal off my screen. Because the way to actually get the information is to run the script without a private key. So let me delete my private key. Okay. All right. So this is also, this line is also, and we don't want broadcast. Actually, I don't think it matters if you don't include a private key. That broadcast doesn't do anything. So this line is also in the code. Yeah, let's see. It's right here in the description. Forge script.solution, which is this thing. The register, which is the name of this contract. This is going to be your RPC URL, broadcast, VVV. And then, yeah, like you need to interact with the contract. If you're going to be using this script to actually register your solution, then you can either do it by passing a private key. There's the interactive flag. There's a number of different ways. There's a wallet management system within Foundry. So ultimately, you're going to need a private key. But if you run it without a private key, you will get some of this information that you're asking about. So I'm going to run the script. No private key. So here's the logs, okay? So, I don't know why it's logging this. I gotta delete this. There's two things I need to do to fix up this repo. Delete that log and delete, there's something else. Oh, the README. I gotta fix the README. So anyway, let's ignore this top one. I'm gonna delete that. But calling register on the Huff CTF registry contract. This is the contract that we just looked at on the Block Explorer. And here's the arg. So like if you wanted to just put this in by hand over on the Block Explorer, you could copy and paste these items and it should work, okay? You can copy and paste the challenge ID, the solver handle, the code hash. It does this code hash for you. And then lastly, this is the gas converted to hex. So like if you were, whatever, if you didn't want to do this or you're having problems with it, you can go straight to the contract and enter those amounts. So, I mean, I would really like you guys to try and see if you can actually do it for real, if you can actually register for real and see what problems we have and see if it's going to be a pain for everybody to get Optimism ETH and see what kind of difficulties we might have. So if you guys could try that out, one, it works, and I'm going to try it too. I'm going to remove my terminal off the screen for a second.
Sweet. Very.
All right, I'm registering my solution now.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Cool. Looks like mine went through. So there's some functions on here. What is this? OX21. So we can go get solutions. OX21. Boom. Yeah, we've got a bunch of you guys. Steph Tooligan, Benoit, there's Paul. There's me again. Yeah, this must have been from the other day. So cool, it's working. Did anybody run into any problems? Like, is it going to be a big problem that nobody has Optimus and ETH? Like, what do you guys think? Like, you know, we wanted to have some sort of on-chain registry because, like, some of these other challenges that Huff has done, or we've seen like Rare Skills do. I hear some background noise. Somebody singing. Slimy Lemon. I'm muting you. There's some Maheen. All right, cool. I'll move this back over here. So yeah, let's see what some of the comments are. Why not testnet? I don't know. I haven't had good luck with testnet. Like, I used to do battle with testnets at my old job, and I don't really know what the current status is of testnet, to be honest. Why can't any testnet be used for this? Yeah, I'm not really that familiar with testnets. Like, I stopped using them back in the Go Early days because we had so much problems getting transactions to go through. We're spending like weeks of dev time. So we just stopped using testnets and started using Tenderly at that time. Maybe testnet later will be overflowing the solution. Yeah, that's another thing too, is there's a Sybil resistance to this. Like, it's only a freaking penny, or less than a penny. It's a fraction of a penny, but it's gonna, you know, definitely keep out scammers. I mean, already, I don't know if you guys saw the registry, but it's very susceptible to just, like, for example, anybody could put anything in they want. So like, if everybody started spamming this OX21 challenge with a bunch of bullshit, it would, you know, we would have to go through all these bullshit submissions before we got to a good one. That wouldn't be cool. So I mean, that could happen right now, and by having it on a, you know, an actual mainnet, you know, I think it reduces a lot of that. So I think that would be one argument against the testnet. I don't know if Vectorize is participating in the challenges, but he is whatchamacallit, he is the Solady is sponsoring one for $1,000 is the prize, and that's going to kick off on Monday. What should I put there for fork URL? So I don't think you need that. Your value is required. Why does it say a value is required but none? Did I have it in mine? Like, my solution did not have fork URL, and it didn't give me that problem. Let me just paste the command I ran. That's a command I use. I didn't have to use. I didn't have to use fork URL. I don't know why your solution is not passing me. Can you share it? Hey guys, it's been an hour. I need to step away for about 5 to 10 minutes. This is a voice channel, so I don't think you need permission to speak, so feel free to speak, share a screen. I'm gonna step away for about 10 minutes. So I will see you guys when I return. We can leave the comments up here. Make them bigger. No. Oh yeah. I'm getting bigger. Okay, cool. I'll leave the comments up. I'll just leave the whole. Yeah, I'll just leave it like that. I don't know what to do. comments up. Let me see something. Alright, yeah, I'm just gonna put it back here. Alright guys, it's maybe I should leave a note about that I'll be back. What time is it UTC right now? Can anybody tell me?
Hi.
5 o'clock. Thank you guys. All right, yeah, I'll be back in 10 minutes. Try to see if you guys can get your solution registered and give us some feedback. Like, is this gonna be a working thing? Because we're planning to use this for several of most of the CTFs and challenges. So yeah, I'm glad to hear from some of you that it's working well. I know it's not ideal, but I mean, think about the alternative, right? The alternative is do like a Curtis style, like build out an entire front end. We didn't want to do that. And then the alternative is also like the way we've done them in the past with the Huff organization and the way I've seen Rare Skills do it, where you basically just get submissions by Twitter and then you have to manually go through every single one of them. So I think this is a big step above that. Without a lot of the work involved in doing like a front end. So that's why we did it this way. I'll be back in a few.
Can someone help me? Because my test is failing, and I think I did the right thing, but I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. So if you wanna hop in like my thingy, let me know if you could see it.
Yep.
You see, right? So this is my solution.
Mm-hmm.
Um.
Can you zoom it in slightly?
So let's do forge test. Can you actually see it? All right.
Yeah.
So when I do forge test, it's gonna fail. It's gonna fail on the gas report. So it's
This is
consuming a lot
because
of
you're
gas.
because you're using per zero of code.
Okay.
Yeah, he had 0x00.
Yeah.
So he's not like not updated yet or something.
Well, when you call that, it is pushing into the stack.
It's Huff, not
But-
AVM.
Okay. How come see? Okay. I guess. I see.
It's still failing because you need to pass wallet a private key of the wallet.
I see. All right. I'll do that. Thank you guys. Thank you. How do I stop sharing my screen? So 0 instead of, okay, that's nice. Thanks, Michaels.
Yeah, by the way, does the Huff automatically detects which push opcode to use on constants? Or is it constantly push 32?
Yo, yo. Seems like people are helping each other out in the comments, in the chat. Thank you. You know what? I think unless does anyone have any specific requests to look at something or review one of the steps? Because what I would actually like to do is stop sharing my screen. I can still be available here for questions and stuff, but I wouldn't mind trying to get this workshop video published to YouTube because I think it might have some good information for people that want to do the CTF, the challenge starting in like 45 minutes. Thank you. The mystery. How you doing, buddy? Miss you. How's the new job? Cool. So I don't see any specific requests. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing now, guys. And what was your command to check gas use? Well, one of the ways you could do it is by running that script, and it will console log that. Oh, I gotta remember to delete this. But another way is within the code, within the creator file, there's this function called gas report, which is called by utils. So within your tests, you have access to utils. It's directly inherited by that. So you could just call gas report directly. So those are a couple of ways to get gas. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing, but I'm not gonna. But we'll continue, and I'm gonna stop recording for now. But we're gonna continue.